Enel's terrifying prophecy about there being 5 survivors is coming to a head. However, there is 6 remaining, and that is Nami, Ganful, Wiper, Zoro, and Robin, and Enel, of course, so that's 6. And he says there's 3 minutes left, so somebody has to die, which, I mean, is just a scary fucking thing to say. Early predictions is that Wiper might be the one to die, I'm not too sure, but there's something that Enel hasn't accounted for, of course, and that is the fact that Luffy and Aiza are potentially still alive inside of the giant snake. I don't know if they've been killed or not by his giant lightning beam, I'm not too sure yet. Enel collapsed the upper ruins where everybody was fighting, just like he plans to do to Skypiea, so now everybody is down in Shandora. Wiper has seen it for the first time, what his ancestors were trying to protect, and it's very fucked up that Enel brought him here and said to him, I gave you the honor, or I allowed you to come to your homeland. Like, that's basically spitting in his face at that point. And we got to see, I guess, a more intimate view of the devastation that Enel's going to cause with Pagia's death and Connis, and, you know, seeing somebody like that who just wants to care for his people and just wants to show sympathy and empathy and show humanity to everybody, seeing him get struck down by somebody like Enel, who's just trying to help people, just goes to show what a piece of shit Enel is, and the type of people his plan will affect if it does go through. But I feel like the final fight is upon us. Everything is coming to a head in Skypiea, and I can't wait to see what happens. Let's fucking go. Enel he's terrifying, bro. He's a scary dude. Enel's true goal has finally been revealed, and it's just as narcissistic and self-righteous as he is. He plans to go to a place called Endless Verth, which is essentially this dreamland, but he's intending to bring everybody that survived this survival challenge with him. Enel is clearly obsessed with the idea of being God, not just having the title, but being this God that's feared and respected and revered by everybody, and he wants to rule this land, this Endless Verth, this dreamlike land, and have these subordinates behind him that he deems as strong because of this survival game. He feels like this is the only land that's befitting of somebody like him. We see a small glimpse of the consequences of Enel's plan as well, and that is 3 children playing down in Skypiea, and they're talking about the fact that their parents are divine soldiers, and it's just these people's lands are going to be destroyed. They're all going to be killed, and a bunch of divine soldiers have already been killed by Enel for trying to resist him. And while Enel wants to return to this Endless Verth he's talking about, everybody in Skypiea is going to die. So of course everybody tries to resist Enel, but it's no good. Everybody gets absolutely cooked. Zoro, Nami, Ganful, Ganful got absolutely destroyed, goddamn. In terms of raw strength, he is truly the scariest villain I think we've seen so far in One Piece. The dude is cracked. However, there is a small glimmer of hope as Wiper actually managed to do some damage to Enel using a Sea Prism Stone and the Reject Dial, so there may be a chance that Enel gets destroyed here. Something tells me probably not though. But this episode was very, very intense, and the consequences are fucking huge. Enel is an absolute demon, man. His self-resurrection at the beginning of this episode was genuinely one of the most haunting things I think I've seen in One Piece so far. While he might not actually be God, he definitely feels like one right now. I've got to say, fair play to Wiper though, because although Enel kept cooking him, literally striking him with lightning and burning him to a crisp, Wiper just kept fighting because he wanted to fight for his ancestors, he wanted to fight for his people, and although he did get destroyed eventually by Enel, the fact he was still standing after all of those lightning attacks was insane. The dude has insane heart. Wiper is definitely one of my favourite characters that's been introduced in Skypiea. I think he's amazing. After Enel fries everybody, Nami agrees to go with him out of fear, basically, and he shows her the Ark Maxim, which is this giant flying ship that he's made out of gold, from the city of gold, from Shandora. And I mean, you could have just got a plane or something, brother. I don't think you needed all of that, but I don't know, different time, I guess. But it's just another thing to show the absolute narcissism that Enel genuinely has. This is what he felt was necessary in order to get to the Endless Verth, this giant ship made of gold. It's just ridiculous, but the guy, he's tapped. But Enel may be in trouble now because Luffy had finally escaped the giant snake and discovered the burnt bodies of Zoro and Robin and everybody else, and he's pissed. And when Luffy's pissed at someone, they get him punched straight in the fucking mouth. So I can't wait to see this inevitable confrontation between Luffy and Enel. It's going to be so exciting. The moment I've been waiting for absolutely ages in Skypiea is here. Enel versus Luffy, and it's gone completely differently than I expected. Enel's godly persona is finally crumbling. Throughout this episode, we see the chokehold that he has on Skypiea. Connis is trying her best to warn the Skypians about Enel's plan to drop Skypiea into the ocean, but all of them are too scared to even speak about his name. But eventually she manages to get through to them and they all run away, and fair play to Connis for doing that. That was very brave. She even spoke badly about Enel, fearing the fact that she might get struck down by his divine judgment, but doing it for Pagia and that divine soldier that told her that information. She was very brave in this episode, and she's actually managed to potentially save the lives of all the Skypians if Enel's plan did inevitably go through, but I don't think it's going to at this point. Something that I didn't even consider going into this fight is the fact that Luffy, of course, is a rubber person, and rubber is not affected by electricity, so he is literally immune to Enel, which is such a crazy twist that I think is so obvious, but I didn't even think of it, bro. Luffy is the antithesis to Enel's powers, which Enel definitely did not expect. I mean, his face when he realised he couldn't affect Luffy with his powers was fucking priceless, man. I've never seen a face like it in my life. And Luffy gut-checked this man so fucking hard. Like, oh, mate, it was crazy. Luffy is just the absolute GOAT, bro. I can't wait to see this fight play out, and Nami's reaction when she saw Luffy was amazing. amazing. You know, it just goes to show the faith that she has in Luffy and his abilities and the fact that he can save her and everybody else. I'm just absolutely buzzing, man. Let's go. Enel versus Luffy. We're here. Let's go.